Hello, and welcome to this brief presentation of information on remote learning. I'm Cindy with the Family and Community Engagement FACE Center, a parent network of Western New York. This is intended to provide parents and caregivers with some specific helpful tips for supporting students of all ages who may be engaging in part of their school day or all day in a remote learning situation. So, let's take a deep breath and let's get started. Remote learning versus homeschooling. We'll get to remote learning and homeschooling in a moment. The first term to clarify for parents is engagement. Engagement is the quality of and amount of time that your child is actively invested with their teacher, with classmates, and with the remote learning experience. And engagement is also the quality of and amount of time that parents and caregivers are actively invested with their child's teacher, and also with the remote learning experience. There are different approaches that parents can take to ensure a quality education for their child. In the midst of the current COVID-19 situation, some school districts are beginning the year with full remote learning, and some school districts are opting for a hybrid combination of instruction with some in-person or traditional learning and some remote learning. Some students may return to school full-time, such as students with disabilities who have intensive instructional needs. Some students may receive instruction 100% remotely, and some parents may opt for homeschooling. Homeschooling refers to the parent's choice to educate their child themselves at home instead of enrolling them in a traditional public or private school. Remote learning is the shift from a traditional in-person classroom environment to the provision of instruction through technology that provides an opportunity for students and teachers to remain connected with each other and with content to ensure the continuity of learning while working from home. Some people find it helpful to think of remote learning as the digital classroom. Just as this image demonstrates, there is more than one way to get to the goal, in this case, a successful learning experience for your child. What parents and caregivers can do to promote successful remote learning. It is vital for parents and caregivers to be an active part of remote learning in order for it to be successful for their child. They are partnering with their child's teacher to help their child remain motivated and focused while they are responsive to their child's needs and discussing those needs with the teacher. Here are 18 specific tips to help you support your child to do their very best during remote learning. Find out from the teacher what is the best way for you and your child to contact them. Email, chat in an online platform, phone, etc. Find out the teacher's schedule for virtual office hours in order for your child to meet with their teacher. Find out how you access the district's tech support if needed, and how your child's attendance will be monitored during remote learning. These are some of the important things to find out if they have not already been addressed. If your child has an IEP, how will the services be delivered? Ask the teacher what you can do at home to help your child remain on task and able to meet challenges as they arise. Communication with your child's teacher is key. It is not enough to glance at emails or other means that your child's teacher may be providing information. The communication that is meaningful is when you and the teacher collaborate and discuss what is working and what isn't working for your child. Does your child need tasks broken down into smaller chunks? Do they need regularly scheduled check-in time with the teacher? Are they doing well with certain tasks? Do you notice that your child needs more examples of how to start a response or how to complete a task? These are some of the things you'll want to consider when discussing your child's performance with the teacher. Your child's teacher will probably include some expectations around respectful engagement with classmates while working in a remote or online format. Whether the teacher does or doesn't communicate this expectation, you may find it useful to have a conversation with your child about what respectful looks like, sounds like, and feels like. To the extent that you can, it is definitely helpful for your child to have a dedicated space where they have access to the things that they need in order to be successful with remote learning. Not really any different from the homework space that they needed at home before schools had to make remote learning a reality for students. It doesn't need to be fancy, just functional. If possible, your child's remote learning space should be reasonably free from distractions. You know what your child is likely to be distracted by: TV, window, etc. If their workspace is near a window, the window should have blinds, a shade, or curtains in order for your child to control the light. They will need a desk, table, or other flat and stable location for the computer or tablet that they will be using, and some space to spread out a little when they need room for tasks. It may be helpful to have a desk lamp with a flexible arm to adjust for task lighting. A supportive, sturdy chair, not one with wheels that will pose a safety hazard or a distraction. If it is a chair with a flat wooden seat, such as many kitchen chairs, it may be more comfortable to add a chair pad to the seat. They even make ones with silicone backing to keep the pad in place without pesky ties. Being comfortable promotes maintaining focus. They will need access to an internet connection or a Wi-Fi mobile hotspot. They will need the basic school supplies that they used when they attended school in person: pencils, pens, highlighters, Post-its, markers, crayons, ruler, calculator, paper, notebooks, folders, etc. If the workspace is a shared space, such as the kitchen table, the dining room table, it may be useful to obtain a rolling cart with storage drawers, or even a storage tub that all of the supplies can be stored in. This provides some portability and also helps to eliminate chaos every time that the table or space is needed for another function. A water bottle with a sports cap. Sports cap is the kind that you pull to open and push to close. Your child's brain absolutely needs hydration to function at its best, and the sports cap will prevent spills and technology disasters. If you have more than one child learning remotely, it is usually best for each child to have their own supplies stored in their own containers. Less drama. Another thing to keep in mind is that many children need the flexibility to move around in order to do their best work. Not everyone learns best sitting with their feet on the floor on a chair for extended periods. Allow them to move around, and they will gravitate toward the spaces that work for them. Just as you did when your child was attending traditional school, consider setting and maintaining a predictable daily routine that is adapted to learning in a virtual format. For example, a set bedtime, a set wake time, set meal and snack times, digital learning times, physical activity, play or fun time, etc. The routine or schedule may be somewhat flexible from day to day, but it serves as an important structure for your child and for your family. Think about what your child responds to for home-based tasks or chores. a star, a sticker, a check mark, etc. You can easily apply the same idea with remote learning. And remember to always pair it with acknowledgement for their effort. Be certain that both you and your child understand the remote learning expectations. For example, how long the lesson will last, the amount of time expected to be spent on a task or activity, the exact requirements of the task, when you and your child can expect positive, useful feedback and/or a grade for a task or activity. These are some examples of questions that you'll want to ask of your child's teacher. Some children respond very well to having a timer. This gives them a visual guide of how much time they have left to accomplish a task, or how much time they have left before they can do something they want to do. Both are important. You may find it useful to pair the use of a timer with a short break for your child to engage in physical movement or a preferred activity. It is also important to pay attention to your child's reaction to the timer that you select. For example, the typical kitchen timer, as shown in the second and third photos on this slide, usually have an audible ticking sound, which your child may find annoying, or it may be distracting, or it may make them anxious. And if you have multiple children learning remotely, the audible nature of this type of timer may actually not work for them. And the best option may be a silent timer, such as can be found through most modern cell phones. Another tip that you might consider adopting is the language used by teachers to get the best out of your child and to maintain a positive relationship. Instead of, "No, that's the wrong way to do it," or "That's not how you do it," consider saying, "I'm not sure that this is the best way to, we might try." Instead of, "That's not the right answer," consider saying, "I can see where you were going, and maybe it would be helpful if." Instead of, "That's the best you can do," consider saying, "I can see that you put some effort into this. Let's compare it to the checklist or example to be sure that all of the required parts are there and that this is your best effort." Instead of, "I don't know, I went to school 20 years ago and we didn't do it this way," consider saying, "I don't know the right answer or the best way to do this either. Let's think of the ways that we can figure this out together." Speaking this way may feel a little awkward or odd at first, but using these stems for framing your responses to your child definitely helps. They help you to keep it together. They reduce the likelihood of your child feeling inferior, like a failure, powerless to learn. And they help you and your child to maintain a positive relationship as you give each other a little grace. Does your child have ADHD, ADD, or sensory needs? If so, you may wish to encourage quiet fidgeting during instruction and tasks. The use of rubber bands, paper clips, Rubik's Cube, fidget spinner, squishies, nubby or spiky balls, pipe cleaners, mini slinky type spring toys, spiral twister toys, koosh type balls, sensory finger rings, hedgehog roller balls. There are lots of quiet fidgets available at minimal cost. The idea here is that for some children, the act of fidgeting actually promotes paying attention. Another important consideration for parents and caregivers is to schedule in movement time to address the squirmies. Plan short movement breaks throughout the day. moving and grooving to a video clip or song, playing Simon Says, singing head, shoulders, knees, and toes, using a hula hoop, stretching. You get the idea. Finally, remember to give you and your child a break. There are more than enough stressors, and remote learning shouldn't make your family miserable. If you and/or your child is becoming frustrated, try these strategies. Take a little break. Talk to the teacher about the difficulty to look for ideas and suggestions. Come back to the task with fresh and positive attitudes. Break it into smaller mini tasks so that your child can experience genuine success without feeling overwhelmed. And try allowing more time paired with additional examples, practice, and guidance. With a little patience and encouragement on your part, and a solid positive relationship with your child's teacher, your child can learn the skill or topic. Maybe not all at once, and maybe not in one moment, but with your engagement and support, and with positive communication with your child's teacher, your child can absolutely be successful. I hope that this provided parents and caregivers with some ways that you can positively engage with your child's teacher, and with the remote learning experience. Have a great school year, and thank you very much.